Okay. Hello! Hopefully the curse is capturing. Anyway, I'm John, and today I'm going to be talking about D&D. More specifically, the stuff that they are releasing nowadays for their up-and-coming D&D, whatever the fuck it's going to be called. Could be 6th edition, could be 1, could be some other really stupid name. I have no clue. Honestly, I haven't been following this a whole ton, but a YouTuber who I'm going to put the channel in. I'm going to put their channel in the description. Anyway, XP to level 3. Absolutely amazing YouTuber. Look him up. Jacob is his name. He does amazing work. Funny skits. Actually good commentary on stuff. This is basically me responding kind of to him, kind of to this. Mostly to this. I'm not going to try to critique some of the things that he said, but I probably will anyway. Because I have my own opinions. Everyone has their own opinions. That's fine. I'm just going to go off of, what I like, what I don't like, what I don't understand why they're changing, what I don't understand why they ruined, etc., etc. I haven't seen everything. And this is, since I've seen all 5, I've seen a little bit of this, and I've seen most of 6. Because that's all that XP to level 3 has streamed. Because that's my first exposure and my only exposure to this stuff beyond hearing about, simply put, whatever it's called, the new exhaustion rules. Which, by the way, I like. I like how it's now 10 levels of exhaustion and you get a -1 to everything. Or all your rolls. Not everything, just all your rolls. That makes it feel less and more impactful and less confusing. It's not, I'm now at 2nd level exhaustion, now I have this and this. It's, I'm at 2nd level exhaustion, -2 to everything. So you don't have to have that table pulled up all the time. You just have to know, okay, the level exhaustion that I have, as long as it's not at 10, is how much of a minus I have to every single roll that I have. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that, we're here to talk about this stuff, because this stuff is cool. Anyway, so, the reason why I'm starting with 5 as well is because it has weapons, it has some classes that 6 does not have, etc., etc. So, first off, weapons. I love the changes that they've done to all the weapons. I also will appreciate the fact that the net no longer does damage, because unless it's a razor wire net, why is it doing damage? Unless you're getting hit by stones that are attached to the net. But it doesn't specify that either as a net. It's just a net. Short sword, I don't understand what they're talking about here. I guess in a prior one it got turned into a simple weapon, because normal D&D it's a martial weapon. And it makes sense to be a martial weapon. And I like this mastery property. I also like the fact that, Trident has gotten a slight buff, because Tridents are cool. They're a weapon that I've not really ever used in D&D, but they are a cool weapon, just as a blanket concept. And a lot of people apparently had issues with this. I see no problem with this. They made it a little better because it doesn't impose disadvantage. They made it not an obviously better choice than the glaive, or the halberd, or, any other polearm that deals, the 1d10 damage. It's the lance is no longer an obviously better choice. It's no longer a choice that, oh wow, I just have to stand 5 feet back from the enemy so that I can just stab them at 10 feet range with no disadvantage, and oh hey, I get to deal as much damage as a great axe. That just feels weird. I've never used the lance personally, but that just feels weird. And the thing that Jacob didn't mention in his stream, because I don't. He was getting harassed by all the people who were like, my fucking, gnome or halfling can't really use his lance anymore. It's like, well, okay. Big whoop. So it sucks for you, I guess. Just use it anyway. Since I will agree, heavy is weird. It makes sense, but at the same time, if you're strong enough, you should still be able to use it. I'm not saying that just because I have a small bunny barbarian, etc., etc., because he's a mini multi-class that has a fucking great axe. I'm definitely not saying it because of that. Anyway, but it's like, you can still one-hand a lance on horseback. It's legitimately the only heavy weapon that you don't have to two-hand. Which, if I'm not mistaken, something later down the road mentions two-hand, or mentions heavy weapons. And this, it's just, because I think the two-handed property legitimately gets removed while mounted. I think that's how it works. Regardless, I like the masteries. The masteries make weapons feel cool and better and more unique. And a hand crossbow still costs 75 fucking gold. Jesus God Christ. Yes, I'm going to sigh at that because I can get into it once I get over to rogue. But it's like, if you want to build a rogue that has a hand crossbow, well, there goes 3/4 of the gold that you get. Fuck you, then. You get, like, nothing else. Get, like, a dagger. And maybe some packs and shit. But you get, like, no starting gold. Anyway. Light is just two-handed attack. They made it plain and simple. Or not two-handed attack. Two-weapon attack. Dual wield. We'll just use layman's terms. It's dual wield. Which is, again, it's how dual wield has worked. And whether the two-weapon fighting style still exists and the dual wielder feat still exist, who knows? Whatever. Anyway, I'm not gonna lie, I would actually like to dual wield the lance again, because I have a character concept that is bugbear that rides on the back of a warg that dual wields lances, because you can do that, and you can stab things from 15 feet away, because bugbear. Anyway, throne. It's throne. Simple enough. The mastery properties. I love some of these. Cleave is interesting. I do like it because you can hit something twice. I don't like it because of certain feats that are already theoretically disgusting. Great Weapon Master, Polearm Master. Those are two feats that combine to allow you to basically get an extra 20 damage a turn if you hit both attacks. Guess what? This would now allow you 30. Or 40. Because, let's see here, what even has cleave? Oh, looky here! The halberd, a polearm, has cleave! AKA, you can get an extra 40 damage in one turn. Yes, against two separate targets, but that's still an extra 40 damage in one turn. At, like, level 4. Like, I'm not even kidding. At level 4, that's an extra 40 damage. That feels a little much. Flex. Flex is cool, because it just means you get to hit harder. It's kind of simple. Graze is nice, because if you're like me, one game that I did where out of an entire combat that lasted like 20, 30 minutes, I hit one attack out of like 8. You actually still get to feel like you're doing something. Because martial people, all they can do is their weapons, usually. Granted, I was wild-shaped into a direwolf, and I shouldn't have been able to hit that one that I did hit, but that's getting into nitty-gritty stuff that I didn't understand anyway. Anyway, Nick. It's kind of nice, because, it allows you to just kind of double stab. Instead of, stab, or stab bonus action stab, it's just double stab. It's a double thrust. I like that. It's cool. Push needs some limitation. It definitely needs some limitation. It's interesting, but it needs limitations. And I will legitimately pull directly off of XP Levels 3 stream with this and multi-attack. You can quite literally start juggling people into the air because it doesn't say where you push them. Actually, I guess it says away. But in theory, away could be, oh yeah, I'm going to push you away up into the sky. Because it's not saying directly away. Actually, I guess, yeah, it does say away, so I guess it would actually... He messed up then. He didn't fully read it, but he doesn't fully read everything at times, which is fine. He's kind of skimming. He's got a chat blaring at him, and he's got a lot more stuff going on than I do personally. Plus, he's, reading it for the first time. This is me looking at this for the second time after analysis and all that stuff. Regardless, sap. Interesting. You just bash someone's kneecap or hit their wrist, and now they can't do shit. Slow. Bash someone's kneecap. Now they can't move as much. Topple. You knock someone over. Vex. Interesting. It feels a little weird that, hey, I hit you. Now I can get a advantage. Especially, like, say, a fighter. If they get one successful attack against an enemy, they now basically have advantage for the rest of combat against that enemy. Because it's until the end of your next turn, and it's your next attack roll. So if you hit them once with that weapon, you now get advantage on the next attack with that weapon. And you now get advantage on the next attack with that weapon. It feels a little much. Yes, it's like finesse, light, ammunition. So, it's like a blowgun. Fucking hand crossbow. Reason why I'm saying shit about hand crossbow is crossbow master, sharpshooter, and yes, I'm not someone who directly looks after overpowered builds. I legitimately just saw randomly, while scrolling through Google shit, an article that said, hey, pole arms and the hand crossbow are the most overpowered weapons. I'm like, hand crossbow does 1d6. How the fuck is it overpowered? Well, it's because sharpshooter does the same thing, aka a -5 for +10 damage, as Great Weapon Master does, and pole arm allows you to do a bonus action, so long as bonus action shooting with, or no, pole arm allows you bonus action for 1d4 because you're hitting them with the other end of your stick. Crossbow Master allows you to shoot twice with the hand crossbow, so long as you have a hand empty to, reload it. Because even if you're ignoring the reload or the loading property, you still need that extra hand to reload the crossbow. It's just you can do it quicker. So, again. Oh, and now you get advantage. So now you get a more guaranteed chance for that extra 20 damage a turn if you can shoot twice. Which, granted, this is more for a rogue, so that's an extra 10 damage, so... that's actually kind of balanced compared to how much fucking sneak attack does. Anyway. Venturing Gear, net, it catches people. Priest Pack, interesting. Spells, they did stuff with spells. They now have 3 lists for spells instead of each class having its own list. But some classes have specific spells that are basically feature spells. I will get into that when I get into some of the classes. Regardless, I actually kind of like this, because it allows a more proper organization of the spells. Because, oh hey, I get stuff from the arcane spell list. Well, here's the arcane spell list. Now it's not, oh, I wanted this spell as a warlock, but that's warlock only, but I'm a sorcerer. Well, fuck, I guess I need to multi-class now to get it. No, it's just, here, you want to cast Grease? Go cast Grease. Go be like that movie. Etc., etc. Lots of fucking spells. There's new spells, etc., etc. They changed stuff. So, again, like, Book of Shadows is what Pact of the Tome used to be. They did this stuff, which I have mixed feelings about, personally. On the one hand, it's cool, and it's a good concept in theory, but, like, say this one. I guess it does legitimately say the fact that it sticks around forever, but, like, that's the problem with some of these is, and yes, I didn't fully read them, so I will be looking through some of the Warlock stuff. And yes, if you want to pause, you can read the spells. I will be slowly scrolling through because I'm more interested in the Warlock stuff personally, because I prefer Warlock stuff. And yeah, 2 beams, 3 beams at 11, 4 beams at 17. Same or separate. Yeah, they nerfed multi-classing Eldritch Blast. I have mixed feelings about that too, but that's mainly just for the fact that I have a person who I wanted to use at some point at level 20 to be able to shoot someone from over 1,200 feet away. So maybe it's not a bad thing that they did what they did. I'm pretty sure it was well over 1,200. And Wizard, I have very mixed feelings about Wizard as well because they added in like create spell, modify spell, memorize spell. They made writing your spells down an actual fucking spell. Oh my god, it does actually take a spell slot. That is okay. That I actually hate. Scribe spell should be a cantrip. Yes, it should still take a lot. It should still cost shit, but don't make writing a spell down a fucking take a goddamn spell slot. Like, it feels pointless. It's fucking stupid, in my opinion, for this to take a goddamn... Just let it be a cantrip. Because then you don't have to waste even more resources on it. Granted, yes, people are usually writing down spells when they're taking a long rest, so they're getting that spell slot back anyway. But it's the semantics of it. Let me say it feels dumb because it feels dumb. But, like, create spells, modify spell. They're cool. They are very cool. Like, being able to change a spell however you want within these reasons. And, or just, being able to just basically take that modified spell and make it your own. Or memorize is basically just, hey, I prepare an extra spell for a spell slot. Yeah, it's legitimate. It quite literally is just you choose one spell from your spell book that you don't have prepared, and you choose another spell you do have. It's look. Okay, that one actually is trash. It takes an entire minute. You get to swap out spells. Oh, and I just lost a third level spell slot, so I guess one less. Just to play into the meme of wizards, I get one less fireball now. You're wasting a fireball to fucking let's just go to the fucking spell list. To replace like Longstrider with Magic Missile. Let's just say that. You're wasting a fireball on that. Or you're wasting a fireball to replace Ice Storm with Secret Chest. Like, the only thing I can see that for is, like, really late game. Like, I really need Gate, but I have Power Word Kill. Let's swap it out, and then let's use Gate. Or, I really want to turn someone into a goddamn Tyrannosaurus, but I have Wish. Oh, wait, I can just cast Wish and wish for that person to be turned into a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's just, like, it feels pointless to me, personally. But, like, what I was trying to get at with create spell, modify spell, they're adding to the complexity of a wizard. A wizard is already a very difficult character to play, to the point where I've never actually played one. And yes, it might be a lot easier than I think it is, but you kind of have to know every single spell in the game in order to be able to play a wizard. Because a wizard can learn every single spell in the game. Because they just write that shit in their book after they find a scroll. And then your DM has to throw the scrolls in to the game. Or you have to go hunting for the scrolls. It feels... I don't know. It feels like this is adding an extra layer of complexity that is really cool and really fun for more experienced players. But for your new people, it's like, this is kind of scary. Especially since, okay, and yes, I will say modify and create should actually cost spell slots. Memorize, make it like a first level spell slot, but still have it only be learnable, like, later. Like, fuck's sakes, it feels too much of a waste at that level of requirement. Pact Familiar. I have very mixed feelings about this one. Very mixed feelings. And it's for the same thing that I will get, or less, but still I will get into when I get into Druid. Anyway, so they simplified all of these Pact ones, of course. So Pact Familiar, it's the familiar, it's the Pact of the Chain. You now can cast and get a familiar instead of you just having the familiar and being able to cast something to get it back. Exactly. If you already have a familiar, the familiar transforms into a new one, but retains memories. You don't get a second one. And you get to choose what form it kind of takes, but its form doesn't really fucking matter worth shit. Because guess what? It has one stat block. It has one very meh stat block. I mean, yes, I'm not going to judge its stat block. Because the stat block, I haven't really read it a ton, but it doesn't seem horrible. I will say that I do like the fact that each one kind of deals its own separate damage. And it does get, like, a fucking Quasit's invisibility. But, like, the whole sort of thing that I don't like about this is, yes, it's a stat block. It's just one single thing. Which Jacob, XP to level 3 guy, keeps saying, these kinds of things are good because then you don't have to look through the book. I will say, yes, that is a fair point. I will say that is a really good point. But at the same time, I personally don't mind looking through... Well, I don't look through the book. I look through the internet. I personally don't mind doing that. I actually enjoy doing that. Because one of the biggest parts about, say, looking through the book, hunting through the book, hunting online, is it gives you more ideas. Like, for instance, Wild Shape. You can turn into an animal that you've seen before. It forces you to think, okay, what has my character seen? Okay, I live in the mountains. My character lived in the mountains his entire life. But he now has Wanderlust because his home got destroyed. And yes, I'm going through one of the characters that I played kind of recently. So, what has he seen? Well, he lived in the mountains a lot, so fucking dire wolves, probably some species of bear. We have spiders, maybe, because, maybe spider caves live up in mountains. But he had lots of wanderlust, so that allows for more, room to grow as well. But at the same time, it's not like, hey, I'm a high level moon druid. I'm gonna be a Tyrannosaurus. Oh, being a Tyrannosaurus is no different than being a rat. Yes, I'm gonna pull up another reference from his video. Oh, it's just like I can be like a tiny Tyrannosaurus or a large rat. Well, that fucking sucks. And it's like, and this has kind of that same issue. Because to reference one of my characters that I made in the past, I made a Tiefling Warlock, Pact of the Old One, or Old One Patron, Pact of the Chain. He was mentally insane. He had a Quasit Familiar. I chose Quasit because it has the shapeshifting capabilities. So thus, the first time my familiar ever popped up, it popped out of the sleeve of my cloak as a centipede. So just this massive centipede, this like thick as my goddamn arm centipede. And yes, I know you can't see me because I don't have a camera on this laptop. But this, thick as your arm centipede popping out of his sleeve, and he just starts talking all cutesy to it. That is fucking beautiful roleplay. And they just basically remove it with this. Oh yeah, also because it's a spell, it can now be dispelled with Dispel Magic. Oh, and it doesn't work in an anti-magic field, so you kind of can't send your familiar into an anti-magic field, so guess what? Your character feels even more useless in an anti-magic field as being a caster. Oh, wait, right, you're a half-caster now, which we'll get to later, which also... They did a lot of things to Warlock that I don't like. They did some things that I really do like. and some things that I'm very mixed on. And I mean, yes, this doesn't say, it doesn't have a time limit, which I will appreciate. I will appreciate that this does not have a time limit, because that would have been one of my biggest issues, but I didn't remember reading it, so I wanted to double check before I started going off. Well, there's a fucking time limit. You can only have it for a certain amount. 1 hour casting time. I'm not going to argue with that. That's actually pretty fair. So your packed weapon lasts for 24 hours. So I get a weapon for a day. I guess you can pull it out as an action. And yeah, this is where I was talking about with the heavy. Is if you're mounted, you cannot pull out a lance. Because there is no other weapon that lacks the two-handed property with heavy, except for, if I'm not mistaken, like he said, and yes, I'm going to scroll back up. It's like a short bow. Yeah, two-handed. And light crossbow. Those are like the only two-handed weapons that are... Okay, I guess you can also just pull out a musket. I didn't realize a musket wasn't fucking two-handed. I can just pull out a musket now. So, okay, you know what? I like that change. I actually like that change. I can be a warlock that just pulls out a fucking musket. I mean, the one negative is, again, you don't have the ammunition, so you'd have to, something or other it to get ammunition. But, I can just spell cast my musket. I actually love that. Because, again, it's just heavy. It's not two-handed. He didn't realize that either. That's amazing. And yeah, they did stuff with Sorcerer that I actually like. I'm not going to go through the Sorcerer's spells. Again, you can read them if you want by pausing the video. They did a lot of cool things with Sorcerer. Feats. I have so many questions about why they thought this was a good idea. On the one hand, yes, these epic boons are cool. On the other hand, what they did in this one, and what I think they did in this one, I don't know for certain, but what they did in this one is, this replaces your 20th level. It's like, no, just let me have a class-specific level 20 instead of it just being a general piece of shit. Which, yes, these are level 20 abilities, so they're not pieces of shit. They are fucking amazing. Just, being able to teleport 30 feet after you damage something, basically. Yes, you don't even have to hit with the damage, but it's basically after you damage, heal, etc., do something magical or punch something in the face. I can just teleport for free. So it's basically the fighter can smack something, teleport, smack something, teleport, smack something. Or, actually, I don't think that'd be how it works, because I think all the attacks have to be made with the same attack action. I don't think you technically get to do that. Well, that ruins it! But, it allows skirmishing, basically. That's what the dimensional travel one basically allows you, is skirmishing. And yeah, it's okay, that's just magical damage. And it's say Weapon Master. Weapon Master is cool as well, because it's one of the few feats here that, again, I like, because it's not a level 20, hey, we're trying to make it so you can play past level 20. And on the one hand, again, I like this concept. I like being able to play past level 20. On the other hand, especially since I've never actually been able to play level 20. So if I ever got to level 20, I'd probably want to play past it too. But on the other hand, this should not be a level 20 ability for a character. This should be something that you get post level 20, or gifts by the gods, aka your DM throws you a bone. But like, Weapon Master, it's cool. Because it's just simply, hey, I get to unlock the mastery property of a weapon. Cool. Simple, cool. Anyway, Barbarian. This one, I have problems. I'm also going to double check. This is already 30 minutes. Jesus God Christ. I'm not going as fast as I thought I would. Anyway, I have a lot of issues with what they've done to Barbarian. They did some cool things. This sentence right now is good. Cannot be extended with bonus action. I like that. Taking damage doesn't extend it. I don't like that. XP level 3 loves that. Because what they did instead is forcing someone to make a saving throw does. To me, that makes no fucking sense. The focus is not on what you do, not on what's done to you. That also doesn't make a whole ton of sense. Since to me, the whole image of and yes, I'm not going to say barbarian, I'm going to say berserker. Because berserkers have existed in our actual world for ages. If you want to go back in time, back to the days of the Romans, fucking Germanic berserkers were a thing. They're in Rome Total War. And yes, I'm basing this off a game, but I'm basing this off of a game that actually does its fucking research. They are the warriors that go into a mindless frenzy. That is what the barbarian is based on. Barbarians are based on berserkers. Reason why the berserker does more of it. Or the path of the berserker does it more. But like, and that's the thing is, taking damage makes sense to extend it. Because if you're already in a fury, you take a hit, you're going to get more pissed off because it's not going to slow you down. It's just going to make you more angry. To bring up something from an anime that I watched, but it's one that actually has legitimate facts. Fucking honey badger. You try to kill that shit, it's just going to come at you harder. Honey badger is nature's fucking barbarian. It legitimately is nature's barbarian to the point where it does not need to have any armor. It just has armor. It is armor. The fuck? Battle Axe Shield 10? Okay. I will also get into the starting equipment. I will say it just for this character because I have issues with how they're doing the starting equipment with this now. But again, I will get into that when I get done with all this. Anyway, so Rage can last for 10 minutes. That part I like. But saving throw doesn't. Also, and yeah, Rage stopped by incapacitated. That also makes sense. Saving throw. How many times do you think a barbarian is going to make someone do a saving throw? Since I've played multiple barbarians, I've played probably 3 or 4 of them now out of my couple years playing D&D. So yes, I'm not an expert in D&D, so this might just sound like a whole ton of stupidity coming out of me, but I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I've even started writing some homebrew for myself to use in an eventual campaign that I will be playing myself. Anyway, how many times yourself have you even done a saving throw as barbarian? And I'm not talking about, and I'm going to exclude Dragonborn, because guess what? If you can only do it with one race, then it's kind of pointless. While you're in a rage, you can't cast spells. Spells are the pretty much only way that I can think of that saving throws exist. So unless they've changed how grapple works, which, yes, I don't know for certain, where it requires a saving throw, or if you're shoving someone and it requires a saving throw, the things that to my knowledge require a pose test, if they now require saving throws, then that makes sense. Otherwise, it's just, let's remove one of the points, let's throw one in, but let's have it be a point that, barbarians don't use. Because all barbarians do is just hit. They hit, and they hit hard. They also can take a fucking punch and a half. But, they don't do saving throws. Because they don't cast spells. And they don't really have any abilities that require people to make saving throws often. It's a very niche thing for a martial class that is just pure martial. Yes, making saving throws is not a niche thing. It's just a niche thing for something like a barbarian who's not going to be casting spells, not going to be, breathing fire or, any real interesting shit, not going to try to poison people. No, it's just take the great axe and slam it into someone's spine, because apparently now all you get is a fucking great axe or a battle axe. All you get is axes. Yes, I don't mind the fact that you don't have a javelin anymore, because honestly, I never liked having to start with javelins, because it always seemed to ruin the part of the barbarian that I enjoyed. Just remembering to the point where I'd actually forget about the javelins. I just completely ignore them half the time, because to me they were just getting in the way of roleplay. It's like, no, my character would not have javelins on him more than likely. He probably wouldn't even have the fucking hand axes, so I replaced the hand axe with like a dagger or something, something that I could technically use as a tool. But the javelins just get in the way because they're required. Anyway, weapon mastery. So I'm gonna chill my rant on rage. I'm gonna stop being enraged by the new rage, and I'll just keep her going. Weapon mastery. Yes, it makes sense. It's simple. It's like the feat that I talked about earlier, but to my knowledge, it gives you a little bit more weapon choices. Primal knowledge. I like this, personally. Especially since, again, they made rage 10 minutes rather than 1 minute. They allow you to extend it with a bonus action, meaning you can technically keep it up outside of combat by, quote-unquote, constantly using your bonus action. That's nice. And it allows you to do something with rage instead of just, hey, I can punch shit better, or hey, I can lift shit better, or hey, I can open this door better. Oh, wait, the door doesn't want to open. I can smash this door down better. Danger sense. Honestly, I don't entirely remember what this does. And I'm not going to, Google it or what have you, because it's been a little bit since I played a barbarian. And by a little bit, I mean, technically speaking, I played one somewhat recently, but it was at level 3 because it was a one-shot. That turned into 3 sessions. Whatever. Anyway, but, again, this one, if I'm not mistaken, I did like as well. Indomitable Might, being moved down. That's fine. Brutal Critical, being moved up. That's perfectly fine. Persistent Rage, being moved down, and it kind of got a nerf. Because, again, now your rage lasts for 10 minutes. That's fine. Persistent Rage, your rage now lasts for 10 minutes. You don't have to do anything. I have mixed feelings about that, because I liked the concept of a barbarian eventually being able to just rage forever. Just, they just exist angry. That is their natural state. But at the same time, from a roleplay aspect and from a real life aspect, I guess that doesn't make sense. Because yes, the German berserkers, they weren't always in a rage. They would get themselves into a rage for battle. By getting fucking high and shit off of weird medicinal chemicals. Relentless Rage. I like it because it makes you able to still be a tank. Rage Resurgence, I really do enjoy that. Because again, you don't get unlimited uses of rage. You can't keep your rage up for it until you go to sleep. So now it's just, hey, I can use my rage outside of combat to do the good things that I get now. And hey, I can still have a use of rage for combat. I like that. Primal Champion, not bad, it's just stat buffs. Epic Boon, fuck right off. Again, I've gone through Rage. I've butchered it. The one thing that I appreciate is if it didn't exist before, you now get it off of unarmed strikes as well. I don't remember if you did actually get it before or not, but whatever. I also mixed feelings about it saying only heavy armor, because I want to say it used to specify, or it used to just generalize any armor. But if it used to say heavy armor, it used to say heavy armor. Because granted, I never really paid attention to that. I'm the general person. I'm the general barbarian that just goes around in a loincloth. Simple put. Unarmored defense, weapon mastery. Yeah, 2 kinds of simpler martial weapons. You get to unlock their mastery property. I like that. Again, it's simple, it's clean, it allows you to get more out of being a non-spellcaster. Because, and yes, I do love martial classes. Again, I've played 3 or 4 barbarians. Barbarian is probably my favorite class in D&D. I am currently playing a shadow monk, another martial class. Yet, at the same time, all I can really do is slash, punch, punch as a shadow monk. Or as a barbarian, all I can really do is swing axe, get pissed off, swing axe slightly better, swing axe slightly better. While the, wizard or the sorcerer can go fireball, ice knife, fucking wall of force. They can do all this cool shit. I'm pretty much stuck to just melee. And on the one hand, again, I don't mind that. I enjoy that. I don't mind being a tank, taking like 30,000 damage, and then being like, ha, you've just barely bloodied me, bitch. I like that, but at the same time, it can get a little old. Which is one of the reasons, again, why I love the fact that you can now just straight say, hey, I have an extra effect on my weapon. It's not a magical weapon, but I still have an extra effect on it. So now I feel more useful. I like being able to feel more useful in combat. One of the reasons why I really hated that one combat that I mentioned where I hit 1 out of like 8 or 9 attacks because I felt like I was doing nothing but taking damage. And honestly, I wasn't even really taking damage because half the time the enemy wasn't even getting through my fucking AC, which was lower than normal because I was a goddamn direwolf. Because yes, I was a level 1 barbarian, level 2 druid. Ultimate tank, it's fine. But yeah, primal knowledge. You basically, let's see here, gain proficiency in another skill of your choice. Rage is active, you can channel primal power. You basically make strength checks for acrobatics, intimidation, perception, stealth, and survival. Stealth feels weird. The rest of them I love, though. Perception, a little iffy, but again, they mention, you're channeling the primal power. So basically you get the eyes of a hawk without having to, or you get the eyes of an eagle without having to be a totem barbarian. That's not bad. Intimidation, honestly, I'd probably just fucking have that in a normal game, or just have it just straight be you get advantage on intimidation while raging. Because guess what? If you're fucking pissed off screaming in someone's face, that's goddamn intimidating as fuck. Even if you're not intimidated, you're still gonna feel something. Acrobatics, I don't know, cat backflips. Again, stealth feels weird. Survival kind of makes sense, but it's more, I don't know, I almost feel like that one's more just you can resist needing to be hungry, or you just straight plow a path yourself. You don't give a fuck about natural paths. Reckless attack is the same, feat, extra attack, etc. I will appreciate, though, how so long as it's repeatable, they made ability score improvements in actual feat now. So, it's not just, hey, you get ASI, or you get a feat. It's, you get to choose this feat, or you get to choose another feat. I kind of like that. Feral Instinct. Advantage on initiative and dexterity saving throws. I think the dexterity saving throws was what Danger Sense was. And it had, more as well on, it had more specifics to it than just straight up advantage on dexterity. I kind of like that. It's more simple. It's less complicated. I like that. Again, I am one of the people who does appreciate simplicity sometimes. Which is going to be very weird when I start talking about how I hate both of the new druid changes with wild shape. Which might be this video, might be next video. I'm not sure, I'll probably be posting them both at the same time. Whatever. Brutal Critical, again, they lowered it. You now get it on unarmed strikes as well. If it wasn't unarmed strikes, and you get to deal extra damage equal to your level. With a Great Axe, that's less damage, but it's more consistent. And I'm just talking about straight up at level 11. Because normally you get to roll an extra dice. So that would be, instead of 2d12, that's 3d12. Now it's 2d12 plus 11. So it's basically the same as rolling an 11 on that third dice. So it's more consistent, but overall less until you get to level 13. In which case, then, there's not many weapons that can out-damage that. That can do, just flat 13 damage on a maximum dice roll. Or higher than 13 on a dice roll. There's not many weapons out there that deal like fucking 2d8 or whatever that I know of that are just, standard weapons. Anyway, Persistent Rage. You can rage for 10 minutes without needing to do anything. Still ends if you're incapacitated or if you can seriously put heavy armor on in less than 10 minutes, which last I checked, you can't. Relentless Rage. You make DC 10 Constitution saving throw, and you get a heal for twice your Barbarian if you succeed, or twice your Barb level if you succeed. The DC increases by 5 each time, and on short or long rest, it resets. I remember the reset, and I remember most of this stuff. I want to say, yeah, it was still a Constitution save. But, it used to be 1 hit point. Okay, if you drop to 0, you're now at 1. And you can keep being at 1 as long as you can keep making those saves. Rage Resurgence. Again, I love that. Primal Champion. Now you just have a 22 for con and strength. Works. Etc., etc. Anyway, Path of the Berserker. Frenzy no longer causes exhaustion. I've never really played Berserker, but not having to force yourself to get exhaustion from a level 3 ability, not gonna lie, not half bad. And it allows you to do extra damage based upon how long you can keep her going. Yeah, you deal extra damage the first time you hit. To determine the extra die, roll a number of d6s equal to rage damage bonus and add them together. Yeah. Extra damage each round that you use reckless attack instead of giving you a bonus action. Yeah. And yes, as someone said, it's basically barbarian sneak attack. And you're not entirely wrong. It's just you also it's just you have the negative of having to do a reckless attack. So now you also have advantage on you. So now you can also be sneak attacked if the enemy is a rogue. So, yeah, Mindless Rage ends Charmed and Frightened because it used to just suspend it whenever you activated it. Retaliation, aka you get to react to punch someone in the face or smack them with your axe. And Intimidating Presence, which now allows you to, what is it? Yeah, frighten creatures within 30 feet or 60 feet that you choose. Anyway, we're going to be into this a little bit. And I know I'm backtracking. I could just do it on the next, on the next thing, but whatever. So, skills, same. Saving throws, same. Weapons, same. Tools, who the fuck needs tools? Light armor, medium armor, shields. All of this is the same. You either start with 75 gold to spend, which for a barbarian feels like an okay amount, or You get axes and axes. There's the problem that I have with this, which all the other ones have, which could just simply be because they're trying to playtest this stuff, is you have no variety. Your variety only comes from if you're willing to fucking go, okay, I want to open the book and I want to go buy shit. That's the only time where you actually get variety instead of, what it is now, which is, hey, you get a great axe or you get any other martial weapon. You get 2 hand axes or you get any simple weapon. I like that. It allows you choice, it allows you variety without having to try to go, okay, so I have 75 gold to spend, so I wanted to buy this and this, and you aren't having to try to min-max or anything like that. It's just simple niceness. And I appreciate it. I just appreciate being able to just say, I don't really care about gold. I just want these weapons, and I want to call it good. One of the reasons why, one of the times that I played an artificer, I legitimately requested that from my DM, hey, can the only weapons that I start with be a hand mortar? And they were like, okay. And it was a one-shot, so it was okay. So I was a goblin artificer who loved to be a fucking pyromaniac and started with a fucking hand mortar. I got a grenade launcher, and that was the only weapon I had. So I was fucked if anything got within 5 feet of me. But I don't care. Anyway, fighter. I like fighters too. I haven't played very many. I think I've maybe only played 1, maybe 2. But the thing is, I've designed so many character sheets because I just do that as an addiction. Like, I have between 30 to 40 character sheets probably that are in various states of finished. Like, I could play all of them, it's just I'd have to roll stats and stuff. Because one DM does it one way, one DM does it another way. I've once run into a DM who said you have to either point buy or standard array when I rolled stats for that campaign, so my character was already much more powerful. And that one was a travesty. I'm not going to get into that story, and we're probably almost at a fucking hour. Yeah, we are. It's fine. I can cut this up. Anyway. Fighter. Persuasion. Not bad. Second Wind. Can be used multiple times between long rests instead of once per short rest. Not bad. Weapon Mastery. Not bad. Action Surge. They limited it, but not horrible. I will appreciate that you now have to actually have a fucking quiver. I mean, I guess they actually mentioned, a quiver of 20 those. It's just now you have to buy the... Okay, and now I actually don't like it, because you have to buy the fucking quiver separately. Excuse me, game? Also, why the fuck do you start with almost 200 goddamn gold? Yes, you start with fucking chainmail and all this shit, so this probably all adds up to 175, but that feels ridiculous. Action Surge. Limited to fighter stuff. That makes sense. Weapon Expert. It's basically just pumping up your weapon mastery. Indomitable. Etc., etc. Weapon Adept. Which I think is like another version of Weapon Expert, last I checked. Improved Action Surge. Unconquerable. 3 attacks has been reduced because now Epic Boon is a thing. Anyway, so you get defense feat or another fighting style feat. So you get to choose feats now for them. And I have no clue where these feats are listed, by the way. Second Wind. Limited rolls reserved. Regained hit points. That's the thing. Regain them twice, and you get all expended uses, or you have 2 features, and long rest. And when you reach certain levels, you get more. So you can eventually get like 4 at level 10. I almost wanted them to have like 5, because then, it's not like it doesn't cap out at level 10. Like, yes, capping out at level 10 is not horrible, but at the same time, it's like, oh, so I guess I just don't get anything else for the rest of my existence? Oh, weapon mastery also caps out at 10. So, I guess fighter caps out at level 10, guys. Good luck. I know, it doesn't actually cap out at level 10. But, like, yeah, this. Attack, dash, disengage, dodge. You can't cast spells. Makes sense. Because you're pushing yourself physically. You're not pushing yourself magically. You're not pushing yourself mentally. You're pushing yourself physically. Eldritch Knight will probably be able to use Action Surge for spells. Unless improved Action Surge is the thing that... Nope, twice before. The rest. Feat, extra attack, feat, subclass, weapon expert. Since weapon mastery allows you 3 of them, as opposed to barbarian, which allows you 2. This, you choose, and you basically get to replace one of the mastery properties, because I mentioned all the way back up there, it had prerequisites for the various properties, so you kind of have to fall within the prerequisites. So as it mentions here, you can change flex into push. So you now shove people with your longsword instead of smacking them harder. Which is fair. Indomitable. Fail saving throw, reroll it, bonus with your level. And you get to do this once per long rest. Not bad. Extra attack twice. Enough said. Also, that extra attack 3 times. Enough said. Anyway. Adept. It basically allows you to have 2 properties on a weapon. Let my brain start functioning again. So, you can only use one of the properties at a time, but it has 2. I like this even more than, being able to just swap out. Because then, you don't have to try to go, okay, so I think I'm going to use this one now, because I think this one will do more for me than this one. But I don't know, because I've been using this one a lot, but this one sounds slightly better for the situations that I've been getting into. You can just have both now. You don't have to choose. If one has been good, doing you good right now, and the other one might be better for the situations that you've been running into, boom, you have both. Simple enough. And now you don't have to choose. You can only use one at a time, so you can't, both shove and get the flex damage off. But you can shove or you can flex damage. I like that. Again, 2 action surges. Tap and fail saving throw and indomitable feat. You can use second wind to heal yourself. So basically, you can indomitable by second winding. Not horrible. I mean, it's a really good ability. Don't get me wrong. I'm not overwhelmed by it, though, just because it's not overwhelming. It's just not bad. Champion! The one that I actually played, because it's legitimately the most basic fighter, and honestly, I was playing a character that wasn't overly complicated. Then it was a one-shot. And my character got forced to be afraid of chickens, because we got a random thing from the DM. And honestly, it did make the campaign or the one-shot kind of fun. Graded deck and many things also fucked that over, so it's fine. Anyway, Adaptable Victory. You get a new thing at 3rd level, so you can be better outside of combat. And you have a Remarkable Athlete, which is now 2 things that are better, apparently. You get an additional fighting style at 6th level, you get Heroic Warrior, and you get Survivor. So friends and foes, you can gain proficiency in 1 skill that's available to your class, and you get to keep that until a long rest, in which case then you can change it. or choose the same one. Criticals in 19 or 20, that one's normal. You can give yourself heroic advantage, which I don't know what that does. Because I don't think anything here said... Like, that's the thing, is I don't remember anything here saying anything about heroic advantage. Nothing here says anything about heroic advantage. It's just, all of a sudden, it's just, hey, you have heroic advantage. So unless that's a part of a spell that I just don't know about, I have no clue what the fuck that does, or what the fuck that means. Superior crits, normal. You can defy death, and you can regain hit points at the start of your turn. If you have no more than half. So basically, you can keep yourself sustained. Which is not bad. Sorcerer. Sorcerer has had a lot of cool changes. As opposed to Warlock, Sorcerer has had a lot of cool changes. Because it now feels... Okay, I'm just going to get into Warlock as I'm getting into Sorcerer. Because, well... The reasons why I like Sorcerer is the reason why I don't like the Warlock changes. Sorcerer now feels more unique. Because it has ways to modify itself with its metamagic more. It has more capabilities to use metamagic. It has a good number of new kind of semi-random generated spells that just allow it to be more chaotic and wild. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Chaos Bolt. Last I remember, you roll the damage, and whatever number that damage is, that's what happens. That's the damage type. So you roll 1, it deals that damage type, etc., etc. I actually don't think that's how the spell works, but there's another spell that you get to choose the damage type for, and it's an AoE, and you roll like 3 or 4 d6s, and you choose one of those, and that's what the effect is for everyone who failed to save in the area. So it's like, if you roll a 1, everyone who failed to save is now incapacitated. That's kind of cool. And it's kind of weird. It's finicky, it's gimmicky, but it has nice flavor. So I love it. I love flavor, especially when it's flavor that's power. And that is flavor that's power. Anyway, and enough rambling because this is over an hour long now. So I'll probably be splitting this into 2 videos, and the other one will be going off Playtest 6, which is going to be a longer video. Anyway, innate sorcery. New first level thing, gives 2 sorcerer spells, etc., etc. Spellcasting. You get... Okay, you just get more spells. Yeah, you just get more spells. That's perfectly fine. Font of Magic, sorcerer level requirements. That's fair. Meta Magic is now at 2nd level. 3 options instead of 2. 3 more at 13. Let you change 1 after a long rest. That is nice. Sorcerer's Vitality is a new thing. Arcane Eruption is a new thing. Sorcery Incarnate is a new thing that was disgusting, but amazing. Or no, it was Arcane Apotheosis that was disgustingly amazing. Again, a lot of the, these 4 are spells. But they're spells that are your features, and they have amazing effects that allow you to just feel unique and powerful. Instead of just, I'm a different kind of wizard that just can't learn as many spells. So I just kind of just cast Magic Missile for days. Because I can bonus action Magic Missile, then I can Firebolt you in the face as well. It's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but So now it actually feels good. It feels good. And this part I still hate. Again, I'm always gonna just make a mild comment on the starting equipment shouldn't be this restricted. Because that's the thing as well, is they're even restricting what your arcane focus is. So you don't get to have the flavor of determining what your focus is. It's just, hey, it's some kind of crystal if you're a sorcerer. Have fun trying to flavor that when your sorcerer has nothing to do with crystal stuff. Like, would a clockwork soul sorcerer really have a crystal for his arcane focus? I don't think so. Unless the crystal is built into a fucking pocket watch the man has or some shit. Like, that's just the thing is, it just doesn't feel right, it doesn't make sense, and it just feels janky. Forcing people to take specific equipment. It's still, again, it's the reason why I hate having to take 4 javelins whenever I'm a barbarian. Just let me take another simple weapon, please. I wouldn't mind having a dagger and a hand axe as just like tools that I keep on my belt because I'm only going to use one weapon in combat. I'm just gonna be the single weapon person. I'm not gonna be overly complicated trying to fucking yeet spears at people and then charging them down with my axe so that I can collect my spears later or some shit. No, that's overly complicated and that's really fucking dumb feeling to me. Like, yes, if you're the kind of person who loves to yeet spears and then charge them down, by all means go ahead. I'm not that kind of person. And yeah, creating spell slots, there should be a restriction, of course. It makes sense. It's cool. Again, meta magic, they go through later, and I love the new meta magic stuff as well. Arcane Apotheosis is amazing. You can cast Wish. You just get Wish to replicate a spell. And in general, you just have the Wish spell. It's just kind of amazing. Just straight up, level 18. I can now cast Wish, bitch. I mean, yes, you still require all the materials and all that stuff, but you always have it prepared so you don't have to waste a 9th level spell. You don't have to waste one of your spells, one of your 22 spells, or at 18th level, one of your 20 spells on Wish, if you seriously want to take Wish. In my opinion, Wish is overrated, because you have to be very specific, or your DM is throwing you a bone and a half. And also, if any of you don't understand what I'm saying when I say throw you bone, you're making me feel like I'm way older than I actually am. So yeah, Source of Vitality, Arcane Eruption, you can go back in the video and pause to read Sorcery Incarnate. Again, Arcane Apotheosis is cool. Like Boon, I still hate. Anyway, the meta magic stuff. Now affects creature now prevents the creature from taking half damage. Not bad. I'd have to read careful. Forces to make saving throw. You can protect some of those creatures from the spell's full force. Okay, right. It's basically spell shaping that the wizard can do, but for a sorcerer. Got it. Distant. It increases based on 5 times your sorcerer level, or 30 times your sorcerer level, if I'm not mistaken, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Equal to 30 feet sorcerer level. Or you can basically touch someone from 30 feet away. I know that just sounded wrong. Don't. Just don't. So yeah, 30 times your sorcerer level. So basically, it'll be up to 600 at level 20. That's not a horrible thing. But it still means I'm not going to be able to snipe people from 1,200 feet away. Unfortunately, because I'm not going to get up to level 20 in Sorcerer with multi-classing to like 3 or 4 classes. Extended. That makes it easier to maintain concentration. Because Extended increases the duration of a spell. That's nice. Heightened. Now costs 2 rather than 3. Imposes disadvantage on target save against the spell rather than only the first save. So basically, you can mega poison someone. Not bad. Quicken Spell now clarifies how it works with bonus action spells, because I've never run into this, because I've had the rule clarified for me instantly, and I've not actually played many casters. Again, I'm a very martial person. I like just beating the crap out of people flat out and just taking all the damage and not caring. But I have heard people, in games that I've been, talk about, oh yeah, you can only cast one leveled spell per turn, regardless of whether it's an action or a bonus action. And I've heard some people complain about that, but yeah, no, it's a rule in D&D. This is the reason why I mentioned, hey, you can cast Magic Missile and Firebolt in the same turn. As just, eh. So, it makes sense. It's a good way to clarify it, because some people apparently needed the clarification. Seeking Spell. Basically, you just get a reroll for 2 sorcery points. Subtle Spell. Can now remove material components as long as the components are not consumed. Which feels very niche. Because I want to say a lot of spells consume the... I guess actually not as many, since I'm remembering now Silence, and I don't think Silence specifically says it consumes the piece of cotton or whatever the fuck you're supposed to use as a material. Not that, you need the material anyway, because, Actually, yeah, no, it's insanely niche. Arcane Focus has already removed your need for materials. That's written as rules, unless it's different now. So, that feels pointless. Okay. Because the ones that cost gold, almost all of those actually legitimately will say which the spell consumes. So you can't just, cast fucking regeneration or reincarnate or whatever one of the fucking resurrection spells. I think there is one that's actually just called resurrection or resurrect. You can't just cast that over and over, because the spell consumes it. The spell eats it. Transmuted. I want to say that changes damage type. Twin Spell. 2014 version 2 powerful, since basically 2 spells on the same turn, and to cast the extra spell with sorcery point discount. Targeting limitation failed to contain how overpowered the option was and caused confusion. If not mistaken, Twin Spell basically used to be you could cast the same spell twice in a turn, but they had to target 2 separate people. So it was Yeah, now it's whenever you cast that you also cast on your previous turn, you can now instead pay sorcery points instead of a spell slot. Which isn't bad. I kind of like that. Because it allows you to, quite literally fuel your magic with yourself. It's cool. It's very cool. Draconic Sorcery. Warrior Draconic Bloodline. And because they're trying to be more in line with, or they're trying to standardize a lot of stuff. And I didn't get into this yet, but this is wrong. This is wrong. No one can tell me different. I will agree 100% with XP to level 3. This is wrong. I shouldn't have to get into why this is wrong, but I will get into why this is wrong. Sorcerers are born with their magic. Sorcerers wield innate magic that is stamped into their being. You are born with your magic. The type of sorcerer you are is straight out the fucking womb. Why the fuck do you get it at level 3? It just doesn't make any sense to me personally. And I don't understand why anyone would think that would make sense. I have the same issue with Paladin. I have the same issue with Warlock. I have the same issue with Cleric. The rest of them, it regardless feels weird that you're not subclassing at level 1. Because of the simple fact that at least whenever I build a character, and whenever a lot of people that I've talked to build a character, they're not like, hey, I'm playing a fighter. I don't know what I'm going to be, but I'm playing a fighter. No, they're like, hey, I'm going to be playing an Echo Knight, or I'm going to be playing an Eldritch Knight, or I'm going to be playing a Scout, or, you are building your character for a subclass, even if you're starting at level 1. I almost got into a campaign, but it got shut down, where I was going to be that Druid Barbarian. But since we started at level 1, I was like, okay, well, I built my character to start as a Barbarian, so I guess I'll start as Barbarian. But, I'm building up towards multi-classing into Druid, getting Circle of the Moon Druid, getting fucking Totem Bear Barbarian so that I can be the ultimate goddamn tank. And yes, multi-classing, yeah, that kind of is the wrench in the plan there. But, it's the same sort of concept. You are already, before you are an adventurer, devoting yourself to whatever it is you're subclassing into, more than likely. An assassin has probably already been an assassin for most of their life. Why are they all of a sudden not as good at assassinating stuff? Just because they're trying to, be an adventurer, and it takes them like a month or two to get back into the groove of stabbing people in the back. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Anyway, back to fucking dragon shit. They're standardizing names. That I'm fine with. Standardizing names isn't bad. Draconic Resilience gives you unarmored defense for, sorcerers. Simple enough. And, more health points. Or more hit points, which, having the lowest hit die in the game, last I checked, they could use it. Either lowest or tied for lowest. Unless Wizard is actually a D4. But I want to say a D6 is the lowest hit die. Unless Wizard is... I'll check it next video. Anyway. Elemental Affinity. Or Dragon Speech. They communicate with any creature that is a dragon. And the damage type has been changed to Affinity. So now it's less you get to choose what kind of dragon you are. I don't know. That removes some of the flavor. Because, I'm just going to reference the campaign that I'm in right now. Our party has run into Draconic Bloodline sorcerers. One of them being a party member that joined a little later into the campaign, session 3, I think, who is a black dragon sorcerer. So whenever he gets more angry, black scales start appearing. The other one we ran into was a blue dragon sorcerer. Blue scales would appear on him. That is a cool roleplay feature that you can just fucking go into. You can't do that here. The scales just kind of already exist. Which, yes, isn't bad, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't like it as much. Because, again, it removes some roleplay potential. Plus, you're now choosing what kind of dragon you are at fucking level 6 instead of right as you get it. Which, again, should be at level 1, but we're gonna not do that. And Sorcerer's Burst allows you to just spit shit. And to be fair, Sorcerer's Burst might have been the thing that I was talking about, which allows you to change damage types and what have you. God damn it, someone's messaging me on Discord and can screw off. You get a fly. You just get a fly. I'm not going to say anything else about that. You just get a fly. Also, you can just kind of smack people with the wind. Warlock. The last thing in this, I'm going to fucking take a little voice break, then record the second video. Warlock. This is the one that I have the most mixed feelings for, and the one that I actually really do not like a lot of the changes for. Again, the Pact Moons being spells now. I have mixed feelings for it just for the simple fact that it removes all of your... It makes you more pointless in an anti-magic field. A Hexblade Warlock could still do something if they had the Pact of the Blade while in an anti-magic field. They could still be competent. Someone with a Pact Familiar could still be competent in an anti-magic field. Or if someone was trying to dispel magic on them. You know, now dispel magic, oh, my sword's gone. I have to waste my action to get a new one. Oh, my sword just got counterspelled as I was trying to make it. Well, guess I wasted my entire turn. That part I don't like. Everything else about it is cool. Because I will say, yes, it does make sense that they can be counterspelled, dispelled, and spelled magic, fucking anti-magic field, etc., etc. It makes sense. It just feels iffy to me. Anyway, medium armor. Okay, I'm just gonna get into the whole spiel instead of running down the list here because this and this are tied together. The whole reason why I dislike this so much is because they made Warlock a half-caster. XP level 3 is like, I'll play it. I won't say anything right now on one way or the other. I kind of think it's interesting, but I'll play it. Me, personally, I think this is horrid. This is a horrible idea. Absolutely god-awful. Because the whole point of them throwing this in, throwing Pact Magic into normal spellcasting, they're trying to make it so that you are... They're trying to do more with being a melee person, which is, to me, is quite literally saying, hey, go play Hexblade Warlock. Oh, you wanted to play something other than Hexblade? Well, go play Hexblade Warlock. It's almost like they were like, hey, everyone's playing this one subclass because it's really good. And, well, we'll just build the class around it. Yes, I know, that's not exactly what it is, but that's what it feels like to me. Because they're throwing medium armor now as a normal thing. They're changing it to a half-caster so you cannot get like level 8, level 9 spells anymore. You don't get your spells back on a short rest. You basically now feel like a lesser version of a wizard or a sorcerer. That's what Warlock feels now to me. Is, hey, I'm the wizard's shitty cousin. That's what he feels like to me now. That's what Warlock feels to me. I also hate this, but I'm just getting tired of mentioning that. And yes, I shouldn't be judging too terribly harshly because you get more spell slots and you get spells, but you always got spells, to be fair, and I think you actually get less cantrips now. I'm not positive, but I want to say you might. You get more invocations. That's a plus. You get more invocations. And more spell slots is a plus, but again, since I've played Warlocks before, I've played a couple Warlocks. I played that Tiefling, which was in a one-shot, and I did play a Hexblade Warlock. But I was an Azamar who was like a mercenary person, so I was trying to go hard into the flavor that she was just a magical soldier. I don't mind having very few spell slots, because guess what? You got them back on a short rest. It encouraged you and your party to try to take more short rests, to try to, stock up a little bit and all of that stuff. I like that concept of having to stock up and whatnot. Because then there's also time for downtime activities if you're running a campaign and want to do downtime activities. I've actually never been able to do any of those because, well, my DMs don't really do them. which feels kind of sucky. Anyway, so that's my spiel on the reason why pact magic should still exist, and why medium armor should still just be a hexblade specific thing, because it feels like they're trying to make warlocks a fucking shitty paladin. Actually, that's a fair point. It's like they're trying to make warlocks a shitty version of paladin and a shitty version of wizard at the same time. You can't be double shit. Let the warlock be unique again. Fucking Donald Trump this shit if I need to. Anyway, Pact Boon. Now level 1. Gives you your Eldritch Blast, Hex, and a spell from one of 3. What was the fucking... Oh yeah, these. It gives you your Pact spell. Again, the Pact spell I don't mind. Eldritch Blast and Hex being free spells, I don't mind. It's just... They changed the invocations a ton. And Mystic Arcanum honestly sucks now. I don't remember if you could, like, swap out the spells before, but now it really fucking sucks. Contact Patron feels weird. Hexmaster I don't remember from the stream. Eldritch Master has been removed because Pact Magic doesn't exist, but Eldritch Master honestly sucked anyway. Like, oh wow, I can spend a minute praying to Satan, and now Satan has granted me my 4 spell slots back. Thank you. Just take a fucking short rest, dude. It's 1 hour. You can sit and take a breather for an hour. It's fine. And Epic Boon, which I won't mention. So yes, you get Eldritch Blast, you get Hex, etc., etc. We've gone through that. Spellcasting. I've already gone through the reason why I fucking hate it. The thing about it, though, this is the one part that I love about the spellcasting, is it's one of the 3 brain-based ability scores now. And it's dependent on which one you choose. If you want to be a Pact of the Blade, you choose Wisdom or Charisma. If you want to be Pact of Chain, it's Intelligence or Charisma. And then Tome is Intelligence or Wisdom. I like that, because it allows... Even though they've removed a lot of the variety... or actually, you know what? Yeah, they kind of removed some of the variety with the new invocations. And they removed a lot of the feel and the flavor. This allows for some uniqueness, compared to the simple fact that Warlock now feels like a worse version of other spellcasters and half-casters. So, like, this allows for some uniqueness. I'll give them a pass, as long as they bring back Pact Magic. Because this is a cool feature. Being able to choose what spellcasting modifier, so that it's not just, oh yeah, 20 charisma, but I'm mentally insane, so it's not like I can talk well to anyone anyway. Or 20 charisma, because, you know, I want to cast spells good, and I want my Hexblade Warlock to be able to do lots of damage in melee, but she doesn't really talk much. Because, well, she doesn't really talk much. It's like having to have a 20 in charisma just to be good in combat. Kind of sucks when you're like me and play characters that don't really talk a ton. And you yourself are not good at talking. So yeah. Feat, invocation, feat, featured, invocation, feat, invocation, featured, patron. You basically get to contact another plane. Which I don't even know what that spell does, to be honest. I feel like it probably doesn't do much. Hexmaster allows you to cast Hex without expending a spell slot. Whoop-de-fucking-do. The Invocations, which is the last thing on the fucking list. Oh boy. Because we're getting towards the, 2 hours. I mean, the streams were 2.5 hours, and he hasn't even finished yet, so it's fine. Anyway. Beguiling Influence has replaced Lessons of the Old One, which allows you to take a skill. The skilled feat or another feat. Where in the fuck even is Beguiling Influence? Oh no, Lessons of the Old One. That's what it's called now. So yeah, it's Lessons is the first ones. You get skilled. Yeah, you just get a feat. You just get any feat you want, just as long as a first level character can take it. Which isn't horrible. It's actually kind of nice. A lot of things got replaced by Mystic Arcanum, which I will go into my rant of in a bit. Okay, they did actually keep one of them. Since they removed, to my knowledge, they removed a lot of the ones that buffed your ability to... Okay, no, they actually didn't. Never mind, I don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, no, I guess I do know what I'm talking about, because there's only fucking two. But I think some of them were, like, from other books. Yeah, I think some of them were from other books. Because there's, like, 4 or 5, like, Eldritch Blast buffers. Since there's Repelling Blast, and there was a reverse that pulled them towards you 10 feet. Oh yeah, no, this says straight, and that one didn't say straight, and push doesn't say straight. Maybe you could still juggle people with push. Jesus fucking God Christ. Then there was like a... Okay, never mind. They have them. They have range. Never mind. My argument with Eldritch Blast is now void. It's fine. Anyway, Book of Ancient Secrets is just the Book of Shadows, which, you know, is... Yeah. They basically added a lot of the, like, feats that made your packs better and just straight threw them into the packs. That I don't mind. Gaze of Two Minds is a bonus action. Longer deafens or blinds you and allows you to cast spells from the other creature's place, which feels disgusting. But it's fucking amazing at the same time. Because it's basically like, let's see here. Is there a range limit on Gaze of Two Minds? No. So you can... There was an example that was given where it's just a party of warlocks can just hire another adventuring party, Gaze of Two Minds them, and then just send them into a fucking dungeon and they cast spells from the other people's... Like, you can do that now. That's just fucking wild to me. Favor of the Chainmaster I do like because it gives more variety to that kind of, again, that bland, boring stat block. It doesn't give much variety, but it gives variety, I guess. If you can hear that, fireworks, because 5th of July. Anyway, so yeah, Gaze of Two Minds is cool. Favor of the Chainmaster has been absorbed. Gift Protectors from Tasha's Cauldron. Which, what the fuck even does Gift Protectors do? Add a new page, Book of Shadows. A creature can use its action to write its name on that page. When any creature whose name is on the page reduces to 0, they drop to 1, so long as they're not killed outright. And a creature can only benefit from this once per long rest. And you can erase a name. You can threaten someone by saying, "Hey, you know how you have your book, how you have your name written in my book of life? Yeah. Do this for me, or else I'll fucking erase your name, you bitch." You can blackmail someone by saying you can murder them. Oh, that feels fucking dirty. Hexer, basically trying to turn Hex into a new Eldritch Blast, because we all know the meme of Warlock casts Eldritch Blast. Then next turn, Warlock casts Eldritch Blast. Then next turn, Warlock casts Eldritch Blast. Now it's going to be first turn, Warlock casts Hex. Then every single other turn, they cast Eldritch Blast. Life Drinker. Deals extra damage. Is earlier, deals extra damage, heals you. Yeah. Nice. Minions Chaos. This game fucking shitty. Works on large or smaller creatures, which isn't bad. Shitty. Absorbed. True Sight. Okay. Now, time for the last fucking rant of this video, then I can call it fucking good, and I can give my voice a little bit of a goddamn break. Anyway, so, Mystic Arcanum. I hate this to the point where I'm actually going to go, hopefully not fuck up my recording, and I'm going to go, yes, I am not fucking up my recording. I'm going to go and actually look up what this used to do. I did not do that with anything else, but this is something that I hate. Let's see here. So yes, at 11th level, so the original, at 11th level, your patron bestows upon you a magical secret called an Arcanum. Choose one 6th level spell from the Warlock spell list, which you can cast once per long rest without expending a spell slot. You gain one at higher levels. You gain more spells of your choice. One 7th level at 13th, one 8th level at 15th, and one 9th level at 17th level. You regain all uses on long rest. So basically, you get one free cast of a 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th level spell, as long as you're at least level 17. Now it's honestly trash, because you have to use up one of your, yes, 9, but your only 9 invocation spells, or invocation slots, to get a spell that you may or may not ever cast. Because, yes, sure, it's one arcane spell, meaning that, yes, as a level 5 warlock, you can now learn Fireball, and you can cast it without expending a spell slot once. But at the same time, A, are you really going to be that much of a fucking tryhard? And B, it just, I don't know, it just feels horrible to me. It just feels like you're removing, it feels like a waste. Because, like, again, it's either you can grab this fucking 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then have, like, I don't know, probably like multiple level 3 or level 4 spells, because again, you can't. Like, actually, yeah, no, I think you. It's just horrible to me. It's just horribly designed because it steals those slots. Yeah, you get one 9th level spell. And yeah, no, since you have to take it to level 5, you can't even take it, like, early. Which, yes, you shouldn't be able to take it early. But let's see here. So that's one 5th level slot. And that's one 3rd level slot. That's one 4th level slot. So let's see here. It's 5th, 7th, 9th. It's basically every other level up to 17. Got it. So 5th, you get a 3rd level. 7th, you get a 4th level. 9th, you get a 5th level. So yes, you can get from 3rd to 9th for spending 7 of your invocation slots. Your very precious invocation slots that are, limited. So, you don't get one with Shadow. You don't get Witch Sight. You don't get Hexer. Because, you decided to get more spells that you may or may not ever use. Like, that's the biggest thing that irks me about this. And honestly, I wish they would have changed it slightly in the older one. But, like, and as XP level 3, Jacob said, and again, I 100% agree with his opinion, and I love it. Being able to swap stuff out on a long rest is amazing. Simple enough. I would love to be, like, this would actually be a good ability if you could swap out the spell. Because guess what? I'm not going to ever take Fireball with this. Because I'm not some sweaty tryhard who's going to cast Fireball once every long rest. No, I'm going to grab something that fits my character, that feels unique, and that I feel like, before I even get to use it, might actually be good. And then it turns out I don't ever use this spell, so I'm just stuck with a wasted invocation slot. And that's going to be a lot of like newer people. That's one of the worst parts about Mystic Arcanum, is it's something that no newer players should take, because, oh yeah, third level slot. Let's see here. I'd have to scroll all the way fucking up. I'll scroll up. Third level slot. Let's just. Oh, I don't know. Let's just take non-detection. And then never use it because it's. Or let's just take tongues. Or no, let's just take water breathing. Actually, yeah, no, excellent example. Let's just take water breathing. The entire campaign is in a desert. Well, fuck. There goes my 5th level slot. Or there goes one of my invocations. I don't ever get to use that because we're never going to run into water. It's like it just feels bad. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at the fact that it feels bad. Oh, there's wizard shit here too. God fucking damn you, wizard! You overcomplicated bastard. Spellcaster is now focus. Spellbook is now focus. Easy. Spellbook is now a feat. Or is now a feature instead of something from your equipment. Fucking hate that. Arcane Recovery is now 2nd level. You have Academic, Memorize Spell, Modify, Create, Spell Mastery, Signature Spells. So Academic allows you to study to get advantage on intelligent checks. And Spell Mastery, you get to choose a 1st and 2nd level spell slot to cast without expending shit. And Signature Spell is 2 3rd levels for the same thing, so you can freely cast Fireball, you cheeky bastards. Evoker, which used to be Evocation, now gives you 2 Evocation spells for free, and now you get to do more on cantrips. Yeah. So, yeah, that was basically me ranting at this new D&D thing. And, my opinions, my likes, my dislikes, a lot of rants. I will be making another one of these for the 6th one, and as the other ones come out, I will watch XP Level 3's stream, and I will be responding in kind with my own video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Tell me want some more. Tell me want some other things. And as always, goodbye.